What's going on, everybody? Coach Stefan here. I have Stacy on with me. Stacy, do you want to introduce yourself? Maybe if you feel comfortable, your age, your career, kind of what brought you to Pursuit in the first place.
I am a professional genealogist and I like to work out. So I swim, I run, I lift weights, which I really enjoy. And I started rucking, so that's been kind of a fun thing. And I
Awesome.
just saw, I think I saw Coach Stefan on something, I think, and decided that I really liked what he had to say. And I've worked with different kinds of trainers, like with my own kind of exercise, but I like the idea that somebody can look at everything that I'm doing, look at my strength training and my workouts to say, oh, you could be better here or better there. Because it's just that little extra help that I think I wanted. And so I decided to just go ahead and try it and see how and I've really enjoyed it so far. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, I appreciate you introducing yourself and kind of sharing what brought you in. So, um, with a genealogist, like how's your work schedule? Do you feel like you have a pretty regular work schedule or crazy, or walk us through that?
It's I can choose my own hours kind of, so it's not too bad. But it's the getting the I mean, I start my mornings at like 4:30, so
Wow.
I try to get my work done. I mean, my not my work, my exercise done before then. And so it's a little harder when I have to do my weights. That's usually later in the day. So but it works. I mean, I work it around, so it's not too bad. So but it's
Yeah.
it gets hard when I'm have a lot of work. That's when that gets tough. Or when I travel, that's my problem. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this also was because if I take a break, then I stop for like 4 months or 5 months. And
Yeah.
so I mean, I just had this weekend where I didn't do so well this weekend but now I'm back on track again. And I know that somebody's gonna keep an eye on me. And so that's motivating to me.
Right. So, I mean, like the benefit too with doing an online coach from what we've seen is like if you do travel, having that coach there that can really do what you want. Either we have people that travel that are, short, right? Hey, I'm going on for the weekend. I'm not going to be training. What should I focus on with my nutrition? Or I don't know if Coach Mike has gone this far with you about like creating workouts while you're on your travel schedule. Have you guys done that yet?
We have not, we haven't done that.
Yeah.
And I'm traveling next week, but there's a pool and a gym there, so I'm okay with that.
Right.
But I'm sure if I asked him, he would do that. But the other thing that I really like is the check-ins. I really like that. That's
Yeah.
one of my favorite things is to make sure he sees what I'm doing, and I like that.
Yeah. So overall, and I want to get in the check-in stuff. That's super important. That's a huge part of our program for sure. But do you feel like it's worked with your schedule? Like your coach has done a good job of curating something
Mhm.
that does fit for you?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, it works great, I think.
Yeah. And I think something that's very important with us, and we have like a huge first responder community, and they have really crazy schedules. I mean, it's nice, right? You can kind of make your own schedule, but you're still busy in your own rights, right? You're like, oh, I start my days early, and I need to get my workout in here. That can be really hard if you went and saw like an in-person trainer that maybe has a really strict schedule. So the flexibility to kind of do it when you want sounds like that's been valuable for
Yeah,
you. Is that correct?
yeah, for
Um,
sure.
so what are some big takeaways? I mean, like, let me start with this. When you first came to us, what were some big goals that you've had, and what do you feel like you've achieved since you started?
I think I've been more consistent knowing that I have an accountability and that not that I want to so much please my coach. I just want to make sure I'm doing what he asked. And he knows, that especially on the weights and stuff like that, because I tend to do less than what I probably could do if I didn't have somebody pushing me, kind of thing. So I like the accountability. I already forgot what your question was.
Yeah, just
And
like what you liked in the program and what results, like have you seen any weight loss or any strength gains, or what were some of those things that
yeah,
you've noticed?
yeah, I've lost probably, well, it was about almost 13 pounds so far. So,
Oh,
which
wow.
is a, which was not crazy lots. I mean, at first I was like, I want to lose a lot more weight fast, but he's like, chill out, it'll come, kind of thing. So I understand that too. And so the weight loss is good, and the being stronger. I like being stronger. That's to me really important as I age because I'm older. And
Yeah.
I think that the strength training is really important. So, and he focuses a lot on that too. So, and he looks at my diet, and that's helpful to me too. So, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, we
I
try
like
to take it.
everybody's knowledgeable.
Sure.
I can
Yeah.
feel it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a big thing, Stacy, is we try to take a 360 approach, right? We understand that like your training and your nutrition and your schedule and all that kind of goes in. And it looks like, you lost weight. So your nutrition has to be good for that to happen, right? Like you've had to, be more cognizant of your nutrition. You said the accountability and the check-ins are really awesome. And for those that are watching, basically what we do is we do provide our clients with basically 24/7 access, 24/6 access, 6 days a week. And then on the weekly check-ins, it's really nice because the client will, fill out a form. It's pretty in depth, makes you assess yourself and how kind of have you been doing. And then the coach gives a really in-depth breakdown, and we pull up their questionnaire and we pull up their program and kind of give you feedback. You feel like that has been a helpful tool?
Yeah. I really like that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And what about like the communication with your coach? Do you feel like he's hard to get a hold of or pretty responsive or?
Mm-mm. No, he's really responsive, which is really nice. I like that.
Yeah, yeah. We've been doing online coaching for a while, and I'm also a business coach, so I help other online coaches. And one of the big downfalls with most of them is honestly the responsiveness. It's not that there's not other good coaches out there, but the communication, the responsiveness, and when you have an online coach, if you have a question that day, you want to get answered that day instead of like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
they got back to me in a few days. And that's, we've welcomed a lot of people into our program where we hear that frustration. Like they came from another online coach. It just wasn't communicative. The customer service wasn't there. The check-ins were like, hey, great job this week. Like, there wasn't really like feedback, but it sounds like your coach, Coach Mike, has done a really good job at kind of giving you things and tools. Do you feel like he's challenged you in a good way since you started?
Yeah, I think so. He pushes me with my exercise, with my, strength training, which is nice. And he'll tell me, I like it because he tells me what he thinks.
Yeah.
And I like that. I mean, because that's how I am too. So I like it when, if he says, well, he takes into consideration what I'm interested in or my concerns, and then he works around it and makes it so that works for me. So I like that.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah.
So the rucking, was that kind of your idea or I know Coach Mike's a
No,
fan.
that
Was that
was my idea.
okay?
No, that was my idea. Well, it actually was Peter Attia's idea. Do you know Dr. Peter Attia? He's big into rucking, so I thought I'd try it. So
Yeah,
if I'm going to walk, I might as well have it count for something. So,
right. I kind of, well, I was in the military, right? So I rucked a little bit. And then I
um,
did a couple years ago, I did it's called like, have you ever heard of the brand Go Ruck? Probably, maybe.
yeah, that's where I got my rucksacks from.
Okay. Yeah. So I did one of their
Yeah.
like tough, the tough ones.
Oh,
It's like 20 miles. It's like pretty brutal. It's like 12 hours of rucking and carry
sounds
these
like it.
heavy
Yeah.
sandbags with this group. It was super fun. I did that a couple years ago and it is a good way, right? Like it's better than, I think it's better than just traditional walking. And I live in Arizona,
Mhm.
so it's very flat. So
Yeah.
unless I'm going to jump on the treadmill and incline, I actually have a like a 40-pound weight vest, basically a ruck,
Mhm.
tactical vest. And I use that a lot. I'll go like walk my son in his stroller and be like, throw on the vest, let's go, just for some extra workout. So that's awesome. Um, so, some people like they might not really know or think online coaching super effective. Especially if they've done in-person training, they're like, how is my coach going to help me? I don't get how it works. How can somebody make a transformation online? Don't I need to see somebody in person? Like what would you say to that person based on your experience?
Um, well, I think when I first thought about it too, I'm thinking that exact same thing because
Mhm.
they're not even here to see me. But if I have any question on my form or anything, Mike's like, take a video and send me the video so I can see what you're doing, that kind of thing. And I think just with all the the like you said, the communication, I get an answer right away. And just the fact that he looks at every single thing I do, the how much weight or how many reps or just with everything. If I mean, when I was running, I was doing it like 3 days a week. He's like, no, cut down to two. I mean, he looks at the overall thing, and and I mean, I think it's been a great experience. I feel like I'm getting great training and great advice. And I feel like it's much better than I thought it was going to be, so it's been
Yeah.
great.
Well, I'm glad to hear. That's always a good thing. And I'm doing these interviews all week, and I hear that a lot. Like, I'll be the first to admit, Mike too, we've both trained in person for like a decade. So the online thing that really, I mean, it's been around, but it really got popular probably like 2019, 2020, like COVID. And when I first like dove into it, which I was doing it a little bit with my clients, but fully as pursuit, I even had some skepticism, but then we started to realize that we can actually give people better results online than we can in person because there's more accountability, there's more guidance, there's more education, there's more support, there's more community. And one of the big things too, which it sounds like you've done a great job at, is the nutrition, which in person really can't do effectively just because, if you're only going 1 or 2 days a week, and then when you show up, you're getting your workout and they're like, all right, see you next time. There's not really that time to like dive into nutrition versus what we do. We get to see what you're eating every day, right? And every week we get to give you feedback and breakdown. Do you feel like your coach has designed a plan with nutrition that you feel like works for you and is pretty sustainable?
Um, yeah, we've had to change it a couple times for a couple reasons, but he's so that's been good because he's looked at it, and then I had a concern for my doctor, and so we did some different things, and then we still were able to get where we needed to go. So he's willing to change it if we need to. It's not like you can only do this or I won't. Otherwise, don't do it. He's
Yeah.
very good at looking at it and saying, well, we can change this, and then if he does change something, he gives you the reason why we're changing it and explains it and sends me articles and all kinds of stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's awesome. That, it sounds like he's going above and beyond. I wouldn't expect anything less from the coaches because, a big thing in our program is educating you, right? And I had some interviews with our other coach, Coach Riley, and her clients, same thing. They're sending me articles, they're trying to teach me. Yeah, because we know, Stacy, that like eventually you're not going to work with us, right? Like that's going to happen. We're going to hit that point. And at that point, I do want you to be more confident. I want you to be at a better place where you feel like, hey, I can really take hone of my health and fitness, and I either need way less help or no help, right? Like I can do it on my own. And that is the ultimate goal, which is why the education piece is important. And I'm glad you brought up the coach being flexible with your nutrition, because there are a lot of programs that are like my way or the highway. Like this is how we do things. And yes, you need to have some structure, right? But at the same time, there are custom programs and we take into account like your lifestyle, where you are physically, right? Which you had to talk with your doctor, your schedule, and we really try to curate it. And I think the way we do that is through communication, right? Hey, how are we doing?
Yeah.
You like this? Is this good? Is this working? Like every single week. So, you're bound, if we're working together for a year or whatever, we're bound to hit a point where you're like, hey, this isn't working. Okay, cool. Please let me know. This is a collaborative relationship. Let's chat. And it sounds like that's been a big game changer for you, kind of making sure that program is always where you need it to be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. For
Yeah.
sure.
Cool. Well, I do appreciate you jumping on and just giving your feedback. Coach Mike only has really good things to say about you. I'm like, give me your best clients. We'll do interviews and your name come up. And I know you've been putting in a lot of effort and a lot of work, and you're in good hands with your coach. And I think this interview hopefully will give people some perspective of like how it is for people that are maybe a little bit skeptical or had questions. Different careers, different lifestyles, different age, different goals. We have them all. And then knowing that we do have kind of a customized approach that sounds like it's working really well for you, I think that's super powerful. So I really appreciate you jumping on and giving some feedback.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I like it. It's been nice to um know there's a plan. I like the plan and the communication and um the way he works with you, and it's all good. It's
Good,
been
good,
great.
good. Well, I appreciate you taking your time to jump on the call, and then we'll see you on the inside. Keep crushing it, okay?
All right, thanks.
All right. Bye.